Okay, what up, ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here, and today we are going to introduce the First Descendant update 1.3.0. Okay, we are going to go through the patch notes for the start of season 3, and we're going to tell you everything that is in this patch right now. Okay, let's go. Let's talk about it. First and foremost, okay, we have the Axion Plains. The Axion Plains is the new area of the map. It will be accessible after a quest line. It's got both a normal mode and a hard mode. You will need to be mastery rank 15, all right, in order to access this. And players will be dispatched to the Axion Plains to thwart yet another Vulgus plot. There are a total of 7 missions, and 2 new missions have been added to the Axion Plains. All of this was covered in my spoiler video, so go check that out, okay, if you haven't already. The 2 new missions that have been added are Strategic Asset Defense, which will ask you to defend multiple objectives, and the other one is Decontamination, where you need to defeat enemies to obtain Colossus organic samples and maintain a gauge until time runs out. Okay, this was also covered already, and you can get yourself Void Abyss metal fragments, giving you an additional way of farming them, as well as core amplifiers. All right, this was all covered in my spoiler video. Make sure you take a look at that. Completing an Axion Plains mission will reward you with Descendant XP, Weapon Proficiency XP, Ironheart Particles, and unique Arche Factor XP. That's for your Arche tuning. All right. You also have a chance to obtain the Blueprint Loot and Trigger Module loot boxes from each of the missions. Again, all covered in the spoiler video. Okay. I'm not going to talk about all this other stuff because it's really, really irrelevant. It's all stuff that I covered already. Okay, however, take note that there's also a small chance that you can obtain blueprints for crafting certain descendants and weapons. In terms of what you can acquire, it's most of the basic and ultimate descendants, so Lepek, Bunny, Ajax, Glay, Valby, Freyna, Sharon. And in terms of weapons, it's actually most of them, including Hammer and Anvil, which is pretty cool. So, yep, all these weapons as well. Now, what I'm going to say is that defeating special monsters in the Axion Plains will also reward you with standard ETA vouchers. These are the red vouchers and external component augmentation cores. Okay, so you can basically farm everything in the Axion Plains with your friends. Defeating commanders in the Axion Plains will reward you with rare basic materials needed to craft the new descendants, the new vehicles, and the new weapon, the Eraser. All right? Now, operational areas. I covered this in my spoiler video, but I'm going to tell you again. 2 out of the 7 missions in the Axion Plains will be designated as operational areas. Operational areas feature more powerful monsters and offer greater rewards. Operational areas change every 2 hours. Completing an operational area mission will give you the same rewards for a normal mission, but also some additional rewards. Again, this is all covered in my spoiler video. Check that out if you need more info. Yeah. Okay, in the Axion Plains, there's a mechanic called Dimensional Energy Stabilization. This is something that can be increased, okay, by all descendants working together. So the whole community working together can get you dimensional energy stabilization, all right? By clearing operational areas, you will be added in as a participant in energy stabilization. The dimensional energy stabilization is reset daily, okay? So each day you can get all these rewards. A trigger module loot box, 1 weapon augmentation core box, 1 external component augmentation core box. Take note that even after it's stabilized, if you participate in an operational area, you can still get these rewards, all right? So make sure to do operational areas daily, okay? Contribute to the stabilization of the dimension. Now, for the new intercept battle in the Axion Plains, it's the Wall Crasher. The Wall Crasher spawns every hour, on the hour, okay? You receive a notification 10 minutes before, and then it will spawn, and you'll be available for, I think, 20 minutes, all right? So what do I mean by on the hour? 8 p.m. is on the hour, 9 p.m. is on the hour, 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 p.m., 12 a.m. You get what I mean, right? On the hour, every hour. Now, it is an 8-player battle, okay? The Wall Crasher has identical attribute resistance, so that means there's no attribute that he's weak to. The Wall Crasher takes greater damage when it's dazed after the Void Reflux mode is activated. The Wall Crasher periodically creates objects on the battlefield to put pressure on the field, so you gotta deal with those. The Wall Crasher attacks very slowly, but deals massive damage, so take note of that. A new monster called the Mold, summoned by the Wall Crasher, has been added to the game. You must enter the battle within 5 minutes of the Wall Crasher appearing. So when it spawns on the hour, you got 5 minutes to get ready, get in there. But most of us will just be going in there straight away. If you fail to enter on time, you can enter by accepting a party invitation from a descendant who has already entered. Completion rewards can only be claimed once per hour. During the battle, you can also open party recruitment to allow other descendants to join. All right. The Wall Crasher will not fail even if the personal death count is 0, so take note of that. If your personal death count is 0, the resurrection effect will be partially reduced. Defeating the Wall Crasher grants the following rewards: 4 to 22 trigger modules, 4 of external components, tier 8 weapon cores, 7 tier 10 external component cores, 50 core amplifiers, up to 300,000 gold, some Kyber shards. Also, when the Wall Crasher's precursor animation starts, which is 10 minutes before the hour, field Colossi will be summoned for 8 minutes, and they will disappear when they're defeated or when the Wall Crasher appears, okay? The locations of the field Colossi and their battle expiration times are displayed on the zone map. Defeating a field Colossus gives you 4 rare tier weapons, 4 rare to ultimate tier reactors, 3 rare to transcendent tier modules, but the main thing is that you can get up to 10 million gold by killing them. So kill them for the gold. All right, you can also get some weapon blueprints, crystallization catalyst blueprints, and even a full crystallization catalyst can be obtained by killing the field Colossus. So 10 million gold and a full crystallization catalyst is important, okay? That is the most important. Let me just quickly check this. Okay. All right, they updated something small here, but it's not going to affect anything. All right, next is the Dimensional Breach. The Dimensional Breach stabilization rating increases when the Wall Crasher that appears on the Axion planes is intercepted, okay? Even if the interception fails, the stabilization reading will increase slightly, okay? When the Dimensional Breach alert ends, you will get one effect that will be activated for all descendants depending on the stabilization level reached. You can get Void Axiom mission rewards increased by 30%, Arche Factor XP increased by 15%, research time decreased by 15%. So yeah, these effects are pretty cool. The Dimensional Breach stabilization status is reset every Thursday at midnight, okay? And you can get a ranking up to 100th place based on your contribution to the Dimensional Breach stabilization. And you also get a medal, which will last for 4 weeks, okay? So if you want to rank up and you want to contribute a lot, go for the Dimensional Breach stabilization. Now, muted my mic there because my allergies are killing me. For the mobile energy monitoring, this is basically a racetrack around the Axion plane, so you can compete for better times and better rewards, but you can only get the reward once. So this is for those that want to just jet around on their bikes, okay? There's also an activity which I showed in my spoiler video called the Axiom Drop Zone. Chunks of Void Axiom will randomly fall from the sky. If you go where it falls, it's on a timer, but you can get additional like rewards. So these are materials that you can grab just by going there and clearing it, okay? So if you ever see one of these, you can just take a swing in between missions, go over there and grab them. There are also special Axion resource caches located throughout the Axion planes. Roam the Axion planes on your hoverbike and smash the caches scattered everywhere to obtain materials, all right? You can get regular materials that are from other zones, all right? And you can also get special Axion planes materials. Now, all the new stuff has been added to the research menu. The Axion planes demo has been cleared. The new descendant Nell has been introduced. All right, I'm just going to quickly go through her skills. Her passive increases weak point damage, and when you use the Asive, it will inflict the Asive scan on enemies in front of you. Okay? Now, using the Asive scan, all right, activates other effects of your other abilities. So make sure you're always scanning.
New subscriber detected.
Thank you, new subscriber. Sorry, shooting the video while live on stream, but that's how it goes. Okay. When an enemy dies that is inflicted with a sieve scan, it applies a sieve scan to nearby enemies as well. Increases the efficiency of decrypting encrypted vaults and increases the reward amount upon successful decryption. So same as Enzo. Okay, her first skill is Breach Discharge. She'll fire a breach shard that deals damage to enemies hit. If you hit an enemy that you have inflicted with a sieve scan, all right, they'll have a purple marker around them. It will increase the projectile damage. It will deal additional explosion damage and reduce the cooldown of Gaze of the Abyss. All right, so this is pretty useful. Now, for Ring of Breach, it will just create a ring at a designated location. This will inflict a debuff on enemies within range, and the debuff will strengthen over time. It weakens their adaptive defense. The Arche Breach creates an anti-gravity field on the ground. Reusing the skill retrieves the Arche Breach. When retrieved, both the Arche Breach and anti-gravity field disappear. Nell will receive a buff and trigger an explosion around the Arche Breach and return a portion of the cooldown of the Ring of Breach. Okay, Gravitic Reversal. It detonates the Arche Breach, causing a Gravitic Reversal. It inflicts tow on enemies near the Arche Breach and deals explosion damage to them. Gaze of the Abyss is interesting. It grants Gaze of the Abyss to effect to Nell and to nearby party members. Okay, all firearm attacks from Nell will target weak points and increase the weak point damage of herself and nearby allies. While Gaze of the Abyss is active, hitting a target inflicted with a sieve scan with a breach shard or defeating the target increases the duration of Gaze of the Abyss. All right, so take note of that. There's a certain limit to the duration increase, but I'll go through that once I actually get Nell. All right, and she's got 2 Transcendent skill modules. The first one is Restored Heart. It changes Ring of Breach and Gravitic Reversal to buffs, and Shattered Heart will change the Gaze of the Abyss into an attacking skill where you can build up suspicion stacks using your breach spikes and then fire enhanced breach spikes. So that's what Shattered Heart does. Her skill modules can be obtained by completing the Axion Plains missions, operational area rewards, and by combining modules. So I'm going to go in there and just straight up combine modules, but we'll see what happens. Okay. There's a new system called the Arche Trigger system. This is something whereby you can unlock an additional module slot for a special type of module called a trigger module. In order to unlock this, you will need a refined Axiom crystal, which you have to research. Okay, so this refined Axiom crystal you have to research at an A. Once you've done the research, the descendant that you want to unlock the trigger module for has to have 10 crystallization catalysts inside, 1 energy activator activated, and Arche tuning level 40. If you don't have this, you cannot unlock their trigger module. But once you do, you'll be able to equip trigger modules that can enhance certain skills. Trigger modules have certain activate certain skill tags, and if you check your skills, all right, they'll go through it with you in the menu. And I have a guide about this that will explain it all to you. Okay, you just need to go in, match the trigger module to the type of skills, and your descendant can trigger those modules specifically. All right, there are plenty of filters for all this, and I'll explain everything in a separate video tomorrow. Okay, there are 3 tiers of random options for the trigger modules, so take note that when you're trying to use the trigger modules, you will still need to go for rolls, okay? So that is quite important. Let me see if there's anything else that's important here. You can designate your favorite trigger modules. You can dismantle trigger modules. By the way, they've got a separate inventory from your regular modules. So take note of that. If you end up filling them up, trigger modules will go into your mailbox, okay, under the lost and found. Oop, sorry about that. There we go. My apologies for that. I don't know why that happened. That was awkward and weird. Give me a moment to readjust. What the hell happened there? Sorry about that. Okay. My deepest apologies. I don't know what happened there. Okay, sorry. Let's carry on. The trigger modules are obtained from the loot boxes that you'll get throughout the Axion plane. So any mission that you do has a 25% chance of dropping this, or you defeat the wall crasher, you're just going to get anywhere between 4 to 22 of these trigger modules. So try to go for the best rolls. The trigger module slot is saved together with existing module loadouts and presets, and you cannot enhance or combine trigger modules, but you can dismantle them if your inventory is getting too full. So those with like really shitty rolls, dismantle. Okay, that is what I would do. Okay, here are the types of trigger modules. The types of trigger modules available in the game right now are as follows. The first one is called Battering Ram. If you deal damage to an enemy with a clash type skill, it'll cause an earthquake that reduces the defense of enemies in range proportional to the caster's defense and inflicts both damage and taunt. This is clearly for Ajax, okay? Arche Leak is that when you're using a continuous damage skill, it'll grant you Arche Leak. When Arche Leak is active, hitting an enemy with a continuous damage skill consumes MP. The skill power modifier increases proportionally to the difference between current MP and max MP. Recovers MP when using a continuous damage skill or each time an enemy is defeated by a continuous damage skill. Removes Arche Leak if there is no MP to consume. This is for Blair, all right? Put down your blaze, put down your little blaze patches first, and then you can trigger his flamethrower with Arche Leak to buff him up. And then after that, once all your MP is gone, you trigger the retrieval of your flame zones, and you'll be able to restore your MP. Did I say blaze zones? I literally forgot what they were called, flame zones. Lol. Okay. Power Beyond. Using a global DOT or a ground DOT skill grants Void Recharge. Hitting an enemy while Void Recharge is at max stacks with a global DOT or ground DOT skill creates amorphous phenomenon under the enemy's feet and removes all Void Recharge stacks. The amorphous phenomenon briefly inflicts tow on enemies in range and reduces their attack by a percentage of the skill range boost. Freyna and Valby can trigger this for sure, but we'll have to see whether it's useful. To me, it's probably more useful for Valby than anybody, but we'll see. Okay, Gap in Time. Hitting an enemy with a normal AoE type skill deals additional damage. Additional damage trigger rate is inversely proportional to the caster's current skill cooldown reduction. Okay, so I'm guessing that less inversely proportional, less cooldown means less triggers. Sorry, less cooldown means more triggers. More cooldown means more triggers. Less triggers, sorry. I don't know, that's confusing, but we'll test it out when we can. It's probably going to be used with Bunny, just so you know. Death by 1,000 cuts. Using a projectile type skill grants residual Arche preservation stacks based on the skill type. Hitting an enemy with a projectile type skill while residual Arche preservation is at max stacks causes an Arche meteor to fall on the target and nearby enemies, dealing damage. Residual Arche preservation stacks differently for each projectile type, with multi-type skills giving the most stacks. This one will probably be for Ines and Keelan, so that's going to be important. Particle Conversion Emitter. Using an ally enhancement, healing, charging, or supply type skill to grant a buff or heal an ally grants particle transmission to the ally. Particle transmission converts to particle emission at max stacks and deals additional damage proportional to the caster's skill power when attacking an enemy. Particle transmission does not apply while particle emission is active. Granting additional buff or healing a target affected by particle emission increases their duration. All right. So this is most likely for Eugen, or for buffer type characters like Enzo. That's what I'm seeing here. Full Arche Jacket. When reloading, consume MP to grant the next magazine Arche Coating. Arche Coating has a chance to deal skill damage to enemies near the target hit by a firearm until the magazine runs out, most likely for Haley or Enzo. Kyber Hollow Points. Now, this one is confusing. All right. Replaces bullets with Kyber Hollow Points and increases base recoil, hitting an enemy with a firearm anywhere other than a weak point. Grants force weakening stacks to the caster based on the caster's recoil reduction modifier. Okay. Force weakening reduces max hit points while increasing weak point damage per stack and removes some stacks and recovers HP on a successful weak point attack. So not quite sure what this is supposed to do, but I guess I would use it with Glay if nothing else. Okay. Changing weapons removes force weakening. Effects do not trigger on bullets that miss the target. So there you go. Cyclic Amplifier is basically where using a skill grants and rotates cyclic amplification, which increases the power of a single Arche attribute at regular intervals. So I guess it can be used to buff up certain Arche types over time, but it seems very random, so it's probably going to go unused unless somebody discovers a way to make this really awesome. Okay, now there's a whole section on skill types, but I'm going to skip this because all that matters is that your trigger modules will show you which of your skills can work with the trigger module already. All of this is already in the game. It will be in my guide, so you can look forward to that, and it will explain everything you need to know. So you don't have to worry about all these tags. Just ignore that. Okay. Vehicles. Vehicles can be equipped from the new menu where it's in your inventory. There'll be a vehicle section. I'll show you guys this on my evening streams. Okay. The Glide 4 will be the first bike you get, which is this blue one. Then the Orca and the Vortex are obtained later on. Okay. All vehicles can be enhanced, and their basic performance improves with each enhancement level. Enhancing a vehicle will earn you Mastery XP. Okay. And enhancing the vehicles will cost you the stuff that you can get from the Axion planes, as well as some gold. I will probably max out my vehicle ASAP, so please look forward to that. It's not going to be difficult. We just need the materials, so I'll be farming all night and getting that shit done. Okay. They've corrected the materials and currency required per modification. Modifying the vehicles will give you additional options that can enhance how the vehicle feels, so take note of that. Okay. There's new ultimate weapons, which is the Exterminator and the Eraser Scout Rifle. Okay. The Exterminator launcher is acquired from the Battle Pass, and its unique ability is that when aiming, it will automatically designate enemies on the screen as targets. It fires explosive rounds at the targeted enemies, and explosive rounds deal additional damage to Carapace hull and armored Carapace of special units, such as the ships, the tunnels, the cluster sacks, and certain bosses like the Razor Claws and the Steel Pincers. You can break their Carapace hull very easily like that. Okay. The Eraser Scout Rifle has an ability called Erase. If you hit an enemy, you will get the ability called Analysis. When Analysis reaches maximum stacks, it changes to Degrade. When Degrade is in effect, firing the weapon creates degrading enzymes at the hit location. Enemies hit by degrading enzymes are inflicted with Corrosion, which reduces their toxic weapon resistance and adaptive defense. So it's designed to counter adaptive defense, but meh, you don't need to worry too much about it. Okay, there are some new external components being added to the game. The first is Ballistic Tracker. The 2-set effect enhances weak point damage by 5%, while the 4-piece effect, okay, will grant you a stack of trajectory whenever you hit a weak point. You can have up to 2 stacks, and there's a 10-second duration, all right? When you attack a weak point, once you've got 2 stacks of trajectory analysis, it will deal ricochet damage around the hit enemy to up to 5 enemies. Ricochet damage deals damage equivalent to 8.5% of firearm damage, increasing in damage by 2.75% per ricochet. Okay, so that's what it does. The Dimension Destroyer set is a full 4-piece set. It's only for the Wall Crasher. Basically, It grants you 1 stack of breach formation per second, an additional stack per skill use up to 10 stacks. When you use a skill at 10 stacks of breach formation, it grants crash to you. Crash will cause the wall crasher's pandemonium flotations to crash down on a random target location. Okay, this will deal 69.6% of skill power, nice, as additional damage. Last is the circulation set. This is mostly for healers, but it will increase your max MP for the 2-set effect by 28. And when you're using a healing skill on an ally, it'll grant tolerance to you. Tolerance will increase in effect proportionally to the number of allies in the mission. Basically, this will adjust your outgoing shield recovery modifier, your MP heal modifier, and your skill costs. Okay, so that is for healers to use if they want. Okay, now we're on to Descendant rebalances. Now, a lot of people have been asking about this. Jayber has received a major change. Okay, Jayber can now summon up to 3 turrets. This is the total of assault turrets and medical turrets, and no more turrets can be summoned beyond this number. Okay. His assault turret and medical turret skills are stackable and can be stacked up to 3 times. Jayber's turrets will now explode when removed and deal damage to enemies. The damage range is 3 meters, damage is 528%. Jayber's medical turrets can now recover assault turrets within range and reduce the damage they receive. So you can plonk like 2 assault turrets, 1 medical turret, and do something like that if you want to. Or you can just go ham and plonk 3 assault turrets. Doesn't really matter. Okay. Adjusted the speed at which Jayber can switch to another action while using the reactivate. That's his 4th skill. The overhaul effect granted by Jayber's reactivate and modification module, immediate purge code, now increases his movement speed as well. Okay, so he gets a 25% move speed increase. They've increased the damage of Jayber's assault turret and the AoE damage of the turret zone. So his assault turret now deals 264% damage, and the turret zone continuously deals 209.8% damage. Okay? Along with improvements to Jayber's skills, the attacking compulsion and medical compulsion skill modules have been disabled. Somebody vacuuming? I think somebody's vacuuming. Sorry about that. As the above skill modules no longer function while equipped, please remove them manually. Dismantling the above skill modules will return 100% of the gold and Kyber shards spent, which is attacking compulsion and medical compulsion. Although only Kyber shards are displayed under currency provided upon dismantle on the dismantle screen, you also receive the gold when dismantling these modules. The attacking compulsion and medical compulsion skill modules can no longer be obtained in the game. And along with these changes to Jayber's mechanics, we will continue to introduce new skill modules in future. Okay? So, although 2 of his modules got effectively removed from the game, Jayber will receive new modules in future as his rework continues throughout August. Viessa has received a numbers buff to her skill damage, okay, and a cooldown reduction for Blizzard, as well as an MP cost reduction. The range of her skills has not been changed, okay, so take note of that. Some of the skill performances when she changes modules has also been adjusted, so take note of that, okay? Hypothermia has received a buff to the Ice Needle damage, so take note of that. And Absolute Zero also received a numbers buff across the board. Okay, Ezimo has seen a range increase, so the maximum expandable range for Ezimo has gone up. His explosion damage for his time bombs has also seen an increase, which is kind of nice. Cluster Bomb has seen an increase in the cluster bomb damage, explosion damage, and max expandable range, as well as the continuous damage over time. So take note of that. The rest is all range increases. Sharon has seen an increase to damage numbers as well as the damage range, okay, for her area suppression module, so take note of that. Valby has adjusted some skill performances of the water play module, okay. The damage intervals, meaning that every half a second, Valby's damage will tick, but her cooldown has gone from 8 seconds up to 12 seconds, so take note of that. They've also improved the performance of Hydro Pressure Bomb, as well as adjusting some skill performances of the Tidal Wave module. So take note of that. Keelan has seen an adjusted skill performance of Void Corrosion. All right. So his Void Corrosion will deal additional damage. And they've adjusted the skill performances of the Mobile Strike module as well. The Mobile Strike pierce damage and explosion damage for his second skill has been increased. They've also adjusted the focus on prey module for void corrosion to deal more damage overall, septic gust to deal more damage overall, and for tremor to deal more damage per acidic stack. So this should help Keelan with a little bit of bossing for some situations. Okay, before I go through inversion reinforcers, let me just go check on that vacuum. Turns out it was my mom, not my neighbor, so I just asked her to pause for a little while. Okay, inversion reinforcement. This one I'm going to go through in a separate video, so I'm not going to go through it right now because it's going to just make this video extra long for no reason, and y'all will be building this up anyway, so expect a separate video covering inversion reinforcer. The most important thing that you need to understand is that the inversion reinforcement, okay, is now descendant based. It's no longer account based, so every descendant can have their own inversion reinforcer setup, and you can save this into the presets. So just take note of that. It'll make life a lot easier for you. Okay. The Battle Pass, these are the new skins, which is the mechanic skins that have been added to the Battle Pass. All right. The Battle Pass will last until November, so take note of that. The Exterminator is obtained through the Battle Pass, as already mentioned. And the rest of the stuff is pretty darn irrelevant. So I think none of this is important to go through. The Battle Pass is just the Battle Pass as always. You want my personal opinion on it? It's not that impressive, so I have not bothered much with it. I just buy it for the weapon. Okay, there's a new Void Intercept battle, which is the Abyss Colossus Stormhanger. All right, this is essentially the Hangman. Yeah. You need to be Mastery Rank 18 to intercept him. And here is how he works. The Stormhanger is an electric attribute Colossus. When the Stormhanger enters the Void Reflux mode, its skills generate unstable cores and abyssal electrodes on the map. Excuse me. Unstable cores and abyssal electrodes can be used to the advantage of the Descendants. Some parts can only be destroyed in the Void Reflux mode. These unstable cores and abyssal electrodes can be used to the advantage of the Descendants. I don't know what that means yet, but we're going to have to try that out. During Void Reflux mode, the Stormhanger will use powerful AoE skills and laser skills. Challenge Stormhanger becomes even stronger than in the Abyss when it enters Void Reflux mode. The Challenge Stormhanger additionally generates cumulative inhibitors during Void Reflux mode. Maximizing the use of cumulative inhibitors is the key to defeating the Challenge mode Stormhanger. And active use of toxic attacks is recommended, which the Stormhanger is vulnerable to. Change the Void Intercept Battle Abyss Challenge leaderboard to Stormhanger. The Void Intercept Battle Abyss Challenge leaderboard will be active during the following period. The Void Intercept Battle Challenge leaderboard's ranking, rewards, conditions, targets, and rewards are the same as for the previous leaderboard. Okay, so that's all good. Quest Path Display displays the path to quest objective NPCs in Albion. You can manually set quests to display the path using the Enable Path Display button in the quest UI or the Starter Pass UI. Okay, when the path display is enabled, the path will automatically be displayed once the first... The path will be automatically displayed once the first time. Such an awkward way of saying that when it's enabled, the path will be automatically displayed for the first time. Okay. Okay, never mind. The feature is only available in Albion and can be used with the same shortcut as the Acceive button. Leaderboard ranking rewards. Okay. You get the medal, I believe, for this one. And you'll be able to use the medal until the end of September. There you go. The highest mastery rank in the game is now 40. So it's been upgraded from 30. Also, Descendants no longer need to get to mastery rank 20. Now you just need to get mastery rank 10. And your module capacity for your weapons and Descendants will be set at the maximum value. So you guys don't have to worry about getting to mastery rank 20 anymore. Now you just get to mastery rank 10 and you're good. Okay? but you still need to get to 18 for most content. So now the new mastery rank for everybody is mastery rank 18. Anything beyond that is for inventory space, presets, and whatever other extras you want. Okay. The special operations have switched from Kingston for the defense mission. It's gone from Kingston back to Fortress, and the blockade has gone from Sterile Land to White Knight Gulch. Okay. Equipped name cards are now displayed publicly for other players to see. The shop has added the Near Automata bundle, as well as the H1 racing suit. Okay, so there are other bundles for your vehicles as well, so you can check all this out. I will be funding my 2B skins first, and then I'll see about all the rest. They've also added vehicle paints for those of you that want to paint up your vehicles. I'm not going to waste money on that. I'm going to waste on skins instead. All right, events. There are a multitude of events. All right, there's a new NPC called BB-On. He looks like this, and he will be available in Albion. The events menu previously available on the portal terminal has now been moved to BB-On. Okay, so instead of the portal terminal back here, BB-On will do your events for you. I think it's best if I just show you the new events here. Okay, there are several events. The first one is called Breakthrough with Nell. Put an energy activator and 3 crystallization catalysts in her after reaching level 40, and the rewards are 1 energy activator, 3 crystallization catalysts, up to 4 crystallization catalysts, and a bunch of external components. All right, external component core boxes. So that's what you have to do with the first one, which is Nell's event. Into the Axion planes. Okay, this one is the daily mission. You can get energy control cores, precision ion accelerators, and ion accelerators. All you have to do is complete 2 intercept battles, complete 1 research, and 4 regional missions. So that's that. This is daily, so you can do them every day. Weekly missions. Weekly missions involve the Void Axiom breakthrough. Complete Void Axiom 10 times. Okay. Complete the operational area 10 times, and the wall crasher 3 times. Void Axiom is the drops that just happen on the map. You just have to complete those 10 times. And you get a whole bunch of materials, as well as some vehicle paint selection boxes. For the operational area 10 times, you get 2 Arche loot, which will let you acquire like Nell's stuff. And the wall crasher one is really good as well, because you're going to get 5 trigger module loot boxes and vehicle paint selection. You can do these weekly. All right. Okay. The First Descendant X Near Automata, all you have to do is pay for 60 minutes, and you get 1 million gold and 100,000 Kyber every single day. That's all. Okay, log in and play. If you complete up to 15 hours of playtime, you will get the Pod 042, okay, from Near Automata for 420 minutes of playtime. And after 15 hours of playtime, you get the emote with pod, okay? So you can have an emote to play with your pod. For the Axion Plains Breakthrough, this is just a simple login event. The main thing I know you want is skins, right? So here's what are the skins available. Day 7, Enzo Cave Bat Makeup. All right. At day 14, you get Serena's Peach Cream Makeup. I believe at day 21, it's Jayber's Head Skin Gas Mask. Okay. And then on day 28, you get Twisted Worship Skin, but for Serena. So that's what they're probably going to do. They're probably going to keep giving Twisted Worship skins for each of these new female descendants. But anyway, Serena gets one after 28 days. So please enjoy. All you have to do is log in every day and you're good to go. And that's the events for this season. Now, there's also a survey, all right, that you can click on the bottom left of the event list page. It'll look like this: participate in season 3 survey. You will get a title called devoted, all right, as a prefix, and response as a suffix. You get 2 rainbow paint selection boxes and a bunch of boosters. So if you guys are, after you've played season 3, maybe on the weekend, you can just do the survey. All right. Also take note that the pre-registration event rewards will be sent to you guys, including the customization gift box as a bonus, which many people were expecting. All right. So it'll be given after maintenance on August 7th, which is pretty much today. All right. That's it for the events. Now, there's a boost up event right now that will be ongoing. Okay. This is separate. it will consist of the boost and the boost path. Okay, the boost can only be activated in Albion, and this is intended for new players, all right, or existing players. For new players, they'll basically receive Bunny with 2 assigned module socket types and increased maximum capacity. Modules will already be equipped, all right, and your filters will be set for you so that you can start the game with a bang. Now, when activating the boost, you can choose between Activate Boost or Claim Components Only. Activate Boost is for new players. It'll take you straight to hard mode, all right, and it will give you everything you need. So for new players, they can literally skip normal mode, skip the storyline, get straight into it, and enjoy Bunny, all right? Otherwise, what will happen is that you have Claim Components Only. This is recommended for existing players. All the rewards are the same, but the Descendant and equipment will not automatically be changed. Equip modules will not be changed. Junk filter settings will also remain the same. Boost path. Once you activate boost, it will unlock the boost path. There are 11 categories in the boost path, consisting of about 150 quests designed to help your introduction and growth in TFD. The boost path screen displays quest tips for each item. You can also access a quick and easy guide to the quest location by using the Go button. Play boost paths to experience diverse growth content and even get powerful rewards as shown below. You can acquire ultimate bunnies, so new players, please take note of that. You can enhance the unique abilities of ultimate weapons like the Thunder Cage, assign extra module socket types. You can also acquire ultimate weapon smithereens. You can research the Hagio Sheepdog, Sharon Freyna Haley. You can also acquire various rewards to help you develop your descendants more efficiently. If you previously completed a non-repeatable quest, it will be instantly marked as complete. If the status does not appear as completed, even though the descendant is equipped or replaced, please unequip and replace, and the issue will be corrected. Okay? So claim the components for boost for those of you that are existing in the game, and then you can clear the boost path stuff as well. New players, play through the boost path and of course claim your boost, and you're good to go. All right, this will give you a jump start to the game. Now, content improvements. Okay, we're finally nearing the end of the patch notes. Dear God, these are long. Some of the in-quest interactive targets are changed to terminal or recording device. Champion monsters got nerfed again. They no longer use very annoying modifiers like skill interruption or MP leech in special operations. Champion monsters no longer appear in field mission battles carried out with a commander. Improved effect combinations of champion monsters appearing in field missions and infiltration operations. Okay. They've added social tags to the party app. Not so important for us to cover, but you can check it out yourself if you want to. Invasion Order of Truth's mechanics have been changed again. I'm going to skip this because, again, not really relevant or important. Let's see. Is there anything else here? They've lowered the hit points, attack, and defense of all enemies in infiltration operations in hard mode for 100% and 250%. This does not affect 400%. So why have they done this? This is to ensure that new players who are just getting into the game have an easier time in the infiltration operations when they're farming that and not doing the 400%. So this is to help them. Completing the prologue now grants the player 14 days of gold gain plus 100%. So newbies are going to be eating good. All right. They've adjusted the amount of Ironheart particles acquired by completing the Sigma sector to 250%. So take note of that. Anything else that's important? I don't think there's anything else that's important here, but if there is, feel free to tell me in the comments. Voltia is now available to be constructed. You can get the blueprints from Deslin. You can sometimes find them in ETA 0, but mostly from Deslin in the limited weapon shop trade. All right. So it will cost you support coins like with all other weapons. And yeah, that's about it. Okay. They've increased the mission completion XP for infiltration operations 400%, as well as for 100% and 250%. So those of you that want to be able to level up your weapons outside of the special operations, you can do so in the 400%. So you can also level up descendants there because the mission completion rewards have gone up. Okay. They've doubled the module loot acquisition from monster kills in 100% and 250%, quadrupled the amount of Kyber shard dropped by monster kills in 100% and 250%. They have also added the acquisition source of some descendants and firearms. So they've now added the Peacemaker and Frostwatcher to the Void Vessel. Okay. Haley's components have been the components required to construct Haley have been added to Sigma Sector. In hard mode, you can now farm. So for those taking the boost path, you can farm Bunny, Freyna, Sharon, Blair, Glay, and Enzo in hard mode missions. So not just the normal mode missions. Thunder Cage has been added to hard mode. Last Dagger added to hard mode. Fallen Hope also added to hard mode. So there you go. You'll also be able to collect reactors and external components in certain content. But I think the most important thing is that if you're target farming reactors, you can actually go to hard mode infiltration operations and acquire this stuff. It should work for 400% as well, but they've stated here that they increase the number of reactors and components other than sets acquired from some content. And in hard mode, 100% and 250%, they've increased the number of reactors by 2.5 times. So we should get more reactors in these activities, not just Sigma Sector. So yeah, if you want a full list of whatever you need to, of where to farm each type of reactor, I guess I'll go through it now. For reactor farming, for toxic tech, it's Slumber Valley, okay? Non-attribute dimension is Forgottens. Chill tech is Unknown Laboratory. I think this will actually, wait, I don't think I need to go through this. It should be in your library, but I'll double check it for you guys, okay? But yeah, you can now farm it in these operations, which should help those of you that are struggling with reactor farms. Okay. For Descendants, when you roll, colliding with monsters is now ignored. So if you are ever trapped by enemies, you can just roll out of there. All right. No longer would you stand there and get stunned by them until you die. So you can just roll out of that. Crystallization Catalyst improvement. Your stats no longer drop for your Descendants when you use a Crystallization Catalyst. As long as you've leveled it to 40 for the first time, you will still have to re-level them, but their stats will no longer drop when you reset their level. Okay, so this has been a quality of life upgrade. They've also done this weird thing where they've separated the attribute resistances for most enemies. Okay, so enemies that have attribute resistance will now have their so-called resistance separated into two things. There's weapon resistance and skill resistance. This means that for some skills, for example, Serena's skill's Repentance, it will decrease fire resistance, but this is now talking about fire skill resistance. So it will no longer increase, it will no longer decrease the fire resistance and allow your weapons to deal more fire damage. So take note of that. All right. This change has been implemented across the board, so read the tooltips very carefully, because skills that decrease resistances, you have to check what type of resistance it's decreasing, weapon or skill, and it'll tell you, and this will tell you what to use to properly counter it. Because if it decreases the weapon skill resistance, then you will want to use a weapon with the appropriate attribute to deal more damage to the enemy. Okay, hope that's clear. If it's unclear, leave a comment or you can ask on stream. All right. The research time for certain Descendants has been reduced. Bunny will always take 10 seconds, and Ultimate Bunny will also apparently only take 10 seconds. So no more waiting for Ultimate Bunny. Okay. Now, this is a major change that I talked about during my stream, but target reward, the registration of the target reward unit has been changed from by acquisition source to item. When an item is registered as a target reward, you can accumulate target reward progress in any content that offers the item as a reward. So for example, if you registered item A with Void Vessel as a target reward, progress used to only accumulate when you play the Void Vessel. But if it drops in other areas, you can now accumulate progress no matter what mission you do. However, when we took a look at it during the stream this morning, we thought that it meant that you can now target farm items within amorphous materials or within boxes. I will test it live on stream, but in case it's not targeting the item within the amorphous or within the box, don't be too disappointed, okay? So I told everybody in chat this exact same thing, so take note of that. Okay. UI changes. Essentially, they've changed some weapon sounds and music for descendants, background music, all this kind of stuff. That's mostly what they've done, and it seems pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of this. All right. That's under the sound section. I'm not going to go through every one of these. You can go through them yourself if you want to, but that's basically it. The pool decoration has now been removed. Okay, so take note of that. And there's other stuff about set primary account. I don't use this since I've only got one account, but those of you with more than one account or whatever, you might want to take a look at this so that you guys know and understand fully. Okay. All right. Oh, they've changed the name of the spoils box to mutant cell box, just so you guys know. Now, bug fixes. The bug fixes, I am not going to go through most of them, okay, because they're not all that important. If there's anything important, feel free to tell me in the comments. But for the Descendants, they fixed an issue where the Predator Instinct skill tooltip displayed for Glay, all right, was incorrect. Previously, it only said firearm attack increase. It actually increases explosive attack as well. So take note of that. Predator Instinct will work with Restored Relic. Okay? They fixed an issue where some passive stats are not applied when Ajax's modification module body enhancement is equipped, unlike Ultimate Ajax. Okay? And explosive attack increase plus 40%. I think that was what was not being added passively to Ajax. Okay, modules. They fixed an issue where some maps didn't play music in the Void Erosion Purge. They fixed the issue where the PS5 controller lets out voice sounds. LOL. Okay, so your PS5 controller will no longer be talking to you. PS5 players, I'm sorry to hear that. Lamau. Fix an issue where the effect was not properly applied when attacking an immobile target with a skill while Dangerous Ambush was equipped. So Dangerous Ambush is fixed. Truly Deadly Cuisine was not reflected normally when worn by normal player. Okay. The rest is just all miscellaneous stuff, so nothing else important. Okay, that's it for the patch notes. So, quick summary of everything. Axion planes got added. All right, there's stuff to do there. Check my spoiler video for more information. Nell is added to the game. You can farm her from the Axion planes. I look forward to you guys building her. The Arche Trigger system has been added with trigger modules and stuff like that. Take note that you need 10 crystallization catalysts, energy activator, Arche tuning level 40 on your descendant already done before you can unlock the trigger modules. Vehicles have been added to the game. They can be used in the Axion planes. I don't know if they can be used elsewhere, but you can farm them all in the Axion planes. The first one is given to you free after doing the quest. You can level them up. Okay. You need materials from the Axion planes to level them up. Descendants have been rebalanced. Jayber got a bit of a half rework and some buffs. Viesa got numbers buffs. Ezimo got numbers and range buff. Sharon, numbers and range buff. Valby, a half and half, because some people would take water play as a nerf instead of buff, but we'll see how that goes. But the other modules are all number buffs. Keelan got a numbers buff across the board. Inversion Reinforcer. This one I did not go through because this will be a separate video covered by me. The new battle pass has started. The Storm Hanger has now been introduced, guys. This one is going to be interesting, and I look forward to you guys fighting it. The Near Automata bundles have been added to the shop, so look forward to that. And there have been several content improvements as well. Okay, so that is it for the patch notes. Thank you guys for listening in. All right, I shot this while live on stream. Some people on the stream chat obviously didn't read pinned messages, and nobody told them that I was shooting it, even though I told the chat, why don't you tell these guys that I'm shooting this live? All right, or point out the pinned message to them. So guys, come on. But anyway, thank you all very much, and I'll see you guys in Season 3. Enjoy the patch notes, and I'll catch you on the next one, okay? See you later.